guys, it's Friday, April 18th. In this part of the world, this is Good Friday for Easter. So this morning I went and I had a service call on a sprayer, somebody trying to get nitrogen on their wheat, as well as like I did earlier in the last video. I was putting 20 nitrogen on my wheat, so I had to go help them. So I'm just getting back from that service call. It was nothing too technical. It's just stuff was when you put 28 in the sprayer, like what I did 2 weeks ago in a previous video, and I'll link it here. You guys can go watch that. I rinsed my sprayer out and I cleaned it all out, and I triple rinsed it before I put more 28 in the sprayer so that I didn't have these issues. Yeah, so they did rinse it beforehand, but I'm just wondering if it wasn't rinsed, 100%. So anyways, it's got individual nozzle control, and they were all jammed up, so we had to take all of them apart, clean them out in water. So hopefully over the course of the day, with more 28 and fertilizer going through, that they free themselves up. And then I suggested that before they put that thing away, to give it a good power wash, rinse them, lots of water through it, rinse a lot of water through it, rinse water through them again, and then just as preventative, if you get a rain day or whatever, just fold the sprayer out and take them apart again and clean them all up. Just yeah, it's not ideal. So I imagine I'll probably be back. The issues aren't fully gone away, but hopefully they can get the nitrogen on the wheat. They were calling for some rain, but they pushed it off. We're probably going to get some rain tomorrow, but it is a long weekend before the big spring rush, so not everybody's just chomping at the bit wanting to do stuff. But I do try and make a point to make sure they're guys that are going, if they're stuck and they want to get in the field, I do try and make a point to make sure that we can keep them rolling in the field. So anyways, I'm gonna get rolling home here, and I think Joe has to go to his in-laws for an Easter dinner or lunch or whatever. He did chores this morning while I was out doing that, and I'll see maybe what we get up to today when we get back. Our sprayer is down at my father-in-law's that we rented his ground this year. So he had some wheat there that I got some nitrogen on the wheat last night. I didn't have any of the issues that these guys were having, but that's just comes with getting a new piece of equipment. There's jobs and rush and trying to put stuff away in the fall. Some guys might have cut corners or what have you, but anyways, we'll get back to the farm and see what we get up to. I think Joe got the corn planter hooked up, so maybe we'll rearrange the shed while it's not raining today, and we'll get the corn planter folded out and just kind of go give it a once over, because we're probably going to need it. We don't get a whole lot of rain in this next little bit. We'll probably be wanting to scratch dirt and get corn in the ground 1st of May, 2nd of May. So anyways, come along guys, hope you enjoy this video. Well, my plans to get stuff rearranged in the shed and all that. Now we're getting a nice rain. It's not the end of the world getting a nice rain like this. What that's going to do is wash that nitrogen fertilizer in. Now we did get some snow, so I did that nitrogen on Monday, and I think Wednesday we got some snow, or no, Tuesday we got snow, and then it was kind of overcast. Overcast Wednesday, and most of we got it like the snow through Tuesday night, and then got sunny yesterday, on Thursday. So I did some more 28, and then we're getting rain down there, so that's perfect. That's gonna wash that nitrogen in, and the wheat's gonna grow or take right off. So the calves are fed, their grain. Just got to get them their hay here. These guys are all doing well. There's maybe, oh, I see one back there. I'll go check the board to make sure Joe hasn't already treated him this morning. Like I said, I was away. Well, it looks like I got to give one in the calf pen on the feeder a shot. So we're going to give him some Zolaris, and hopefully that turns him around. He's breathing a little heavy. So we'll get that rigged up for him, and I'll give him a shot. All right, so I'm in the calf pen here. So you can see this 1404 here. You see how his ears are drooped? And then I don't know if the camera picks it up, but he's got some labored breathing, so he's like, huh, huh. So what it is it's an infection on their lungs that's causing them to labor when they breathe. So we're gonna give them an antibiotic with some Metacam in it to help with the pain and the fever, and it's long acting, and hopefully it treats his infection. So I'll catch him here, give him the shot, mark him, and then 48 hours later, we'll give him a second dose, and hopefully that gets him turning the right way. A calf that looks like this with their ears up and don't look sad is a healthy calf. So telltale sign is their ears are down, labored breathing, so he's not doing well. So we'll give him a shot, and hopefully he's on the path to recovery. All right, guys, Saturday, the 19th. Got about half an inch of rain yesterday between afternoon and the evening. So no field work today, but we will. I think it's not supposed to rain until later into the day as well. So we're gonna get some stuff done so that we're ready when this weather straightens around. It's a nice warm day today. T-shirts. It's already 18, so gonna be a nice day to work outside. All right. Well, my plan to have the pail hold up the creep feeder did not work. So let's set that up and clean that up. I really do need to get my mount set up again so I can stick you guys places. All right, well, I had you guys on in my pocket, so I had to delete that in case I said anything incriminating. But update on the planter. So that mess of wires there, we're not getting 12 volt power back here to this valve block, and we're thinking it's something to do with the 7-pin plug on our tractor. We're not getting constant power there. We've checked all the fuses. So Joe's just gone to check the 500 and see if he can figure out which pin has constant power on it. But we're kind of drawing a blank on why we don't have constant power. So I found this plug, and that's what this is what the 7-pin plugs into. It's grounded right here, and then this is the tractor harness side of it. So we got to figure out
where we can get constant power so we can fold. Now, there's probably a workaround this that we could just run a separate power cable here, but we need to figure out why. So Joe switched the pins on this thing to match up what this should be, but we got our voltmeter on the back there and we can't find nothing. So we'll update you when we get her folded out. Hopefully they'll find out sooner than later. All right, success. Planner folded out. Issue was this plug here, the wiring harness on it, the constant power wasn't connected from factory. So we've owned this thing since 2005, I think. From factory, we've never had it. We've never had an implement that needed it. The lights always worked on it, but yeah. Anyways, we got it folded out. Tires are a little low, so we gotta touch it, fill them up, and we just gotta go pick up a couple of the trucks we had at the auction. Didn't sell. Well, they sold. We bought them back. Much to my said the one truck we're going to pick up. I said, why are we buying it back? We don't drive it. But anyways, the other one, the little dump truck we have, we've still got a use for it, but if we were gonna get our money out of it, that was fine. But anyways, so we're just gonna leave this thing here for now, go pick that stuff up, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna get back started on putting that back together, and then we'll pop the boxes off and have a look at the chains and everything. It was all washed and put away ready. Check the tire pressure on everything. Since it's a ground dry, we got to make sure this tire has got enough air, and same with that one. So that affects our rolling radius. And then everything else should be fine. I'm gonna check the bearings on our closing wheels. Oh, that's because that's in the way. Gotta fix that. Might not look like our shed's organized or we keep things tidy, but we do a good job in keeping our equipment in tip-top running shape. But everything else is can appear to be a dumpster fire. But anyways, let's go pick up that truck and I'll catch up with you guys. Well, couldn't bring that truck home because it has a flat tire and the battery's dead. And Joe has to go pick up groceries today. So, we do have another truck that quit on us. That somebody's coming to get the motor out of it. So I got to get it out so that he can work on it to get the motor out. Well, Joe's gone to get groceries, and then we'll go back, get the truck, and then we're going to come back and we're going to finish those gates. So, because the planter's folded out, like I said, it shouldn't need a whole lot. And the big issue was that constant power. We couldn't get it folded out, but we've got that sorted. And I just got to track down the corn discs and the corn meter parts, and we maybe while Joe's welding and doing that stuff, we'll slap those in because it's not a big job to do, and then it should be ready to go. Well, I wasn't moving that truck, but I got stuff cleared out in front of it so that he can work on it. It's getting the motor for free because nobody else will give us any money for it. Still in the truck, so I guess we could have taken the time to tear it out, but value your time if you value your time anything, like sometimes if somebody just wants a motor, might return the favor one day. I don't know. Could have just loaded it up and scrapped too and got scrap value out of it, but whatever. It's Joe's deal. Let's find the corn meter parts and then we'll go we'll go get the meters all set up for corn. Great. So here's my corn meter. So up top I've got my singulator. So when I go to plant edible beans with this disc here, I pin it out of the way so it doesn't knock beans off. I pin this down and I take this brush. So to go to corn, just move this brush here, pop this thing up, take one of my extractors. So this has got a little pick on it that any fragments of seed picks those out of the disc because it's a vacuum. And then I just need to take a blade screwdriver. See if we can do it with one hand. There, it's in the float position. And then I take my corn disc. So this is a 30 cell, that's 108. Corn you don't plant as heavy as edible beans, but while we plant, shoot for 32, but I think last year with the ground being soft, I was only getting like 31 on with the ground drive. But I think this year I'm gonna go up a sprocket and see if I can get. We'll see when we get planting. If it's at 34, we'll probably drop 34. But I don't really see the need to plant super thick. Had really good yields with 31,000 final stand last year. But might just put a few more soldiers out there and see if we can't push. It's expensive bushels, so I'm hesitant to go any higher because I'm not really feeling like I'm finding the top end. Because if the plant's got more space out in the field, all it does is it just puts on a bigger ear, and they have heavier kernels. So yeah, we'll see what the planting conditions bring, but let's get them put together. I went in and grabbed a coffee after I did the first 4 rows. Now I'm back. So what we'll be looking for, so I don't it's just the tensioner. We want to make sure our chains don't have a whole lot of slack in them. So they're getting enough in there. Planter guy, me, the products that I sell for my job, we could eliminate all the chains on here and go to an electric drive, which is my long-term goal. But just hasn't been in the budget to upgrade it. So a lot of my customers kind of bust my chops a bit on it. That they say, well, you don't even use this stuff, but I stand behind it. It's a great product. We've just had other needs that had to meet this, like the corn meters we have singulate and space the seeds really well. It's just we've got to be more mindful with our chains. And since it's kind of going to be wet, like these ones are good here, there's not much playing them. I'm just wondering if we don't just get a roll of chain and do them. Because what happens with the chain being sloppy like that, it can also affect your meter performance as well. But I think once they get tension on them, they'll be fine. They probably just, like I said, the tensioner
needs to be maybe even just swapping the springs out on them as well. But last year, you know, I took the time, power washed it, got all the dirt, and then we sprayed it down all with oil, so the chains didn't get all rusty and they're free. If I hadn't probably done that and they were all seized up and not loose like that, or like the oil where I kept them from rusting, probably should have then maybe looked at swapping them. But anyways, we'll get the meters are just held on these boxes with 2 flange nuts, and we'll just pop them off. Row 7 here, it's a different colored box than these ones because last year I was planting beans on Father's Day in a bit of a rush, and this assembly came loose. So then the chain popped off. So I didn't have tools or didn't have my tool kit with me to put it back on. So I asked Joe to bring them out to me and got the problem figured out. In the meantime, I took a couple phone calls with customers, working through some planter issues with them. Then I thought, I should back the planter up to where that chain fell off, because on my coverage map I could see that the chain, or where the row hadn't planted. Totally forgot that I had set the box behind the planter. Drove over the box. Didn't wreck the meter, thankfully. That was Dad looking out for me. And just wrecked the box. Was able to get a box from a neighbor's planter, and we all got finished planting. I got a used box about a month ago to put on here. But yeah, I was mad. I'll put it that way, and I know the whole time my dad was just laughing at me up looking down at us on Father's Day planting beans. So when you have a mess up like that, sometimes it, let your frustration out. The inanimate objects that I was throwing and screaming at out of my own frustration and stupidity, to back that back up. So anyways, rest of the day, there was no big rush. Take your time. There's 24 hours in a day. You don't need to get everything done in an instant, because when you rush and you forget and your mind's in 3 other places than what it should be, accidents happen. So I'm just glad it was a hopper, because you can easily replace a hopper. God forbid it was a kid. The kids are, around helping me fill or whatever, or Joe working back on there. That's why we always, take a step back, take the 30 seconds to double check something's behind you. Just don't hop in the tractor, and be aware of your surroundings, because there's accidents that you can never replace what you damage. So anyways, let's get to putting these hoppers on. I might have to go find a sweater, because it was 18 this morning, but I bet you it's down to 10. So let's get at it. All right, corn meters are all swapped around. I went and inspected the planter, hit a few grease fittings that I missed doing before I put it away, and now I'm just getting everything put back together on the hitch. So I like to use a contact cleaner on all my hitch connections, because it sits over the winter. This tractor does other stuff, and so want to make sure that I've got no green gunk on any of the connections, and we'll get it all hooked up. And outside of a new compressor and a few other things that we got to do to it, mainly on the tractor side of things, we've got to get the new display and a new receiver mount, because we're going to put a 7500 Starfire receiver on there to run RTK. So yeah, I'm just going to get that all put back together. All right, so we're going to tackle taking this thing out. So I think I just need to use a couple little Allen screws, hold it in place, and hopefully I can get at them. All right, compressor's out. And some of you might be wondering why don't you use that compressor? Well, that compressor blew apart, and Deere wants like $1,500, $1,800 for them. And then you find anything used, and you could run, and you could end up being in the same spot. This one's only like $600 or $700, so put that on. This one does have some age to it because I think we put the row cleaners on in 19. So got 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20. So we got 6 years out of it. So, and because it's running the airbag, it's filling our airbags as well. Because this one crapped out. This one will work a lot better once we get a new one in there. Should hopefully be in here next week. And yeah. Well, that about wraps it up for today on working on the planter. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. See what we get up to. Hey guys, it's the next day here. Just wrapped up some family Easter activities. Taking the sprayer home from my father-in-law's. I'll be here for the next hour and a half. It's a pretty easy drive. Not too many turns or complicated or busy roads. It's just this thing does 31 mile an hour. So anyways, I'll catch up with you guys when I get to the farm. All right. Well, I've been a total of an hour and 10 minutes. So I made better time than I thought. So that's actually not too bad. So anyways, guys, I'm going to safely get her in the driveway and see what Joe's up to. All right, I got the tires all aired up. They were all low from the winter. I'm running 12 on the front, or no, yeah, 12 on the front and 12 on the back. I got VF tires, so I can run lower pressures and carry more weight. So we can keeping our tire pressure low will help reduce compaction and that pinch row. So the fronts were down below what my gauge would read. I use this is a pretty handy gauge that we got here. So it's got it built into it. So when you're filling, you don't have to disconnect the hose. You can just stop there and it tells you your tire pressure. So anyways, I'm gonna get this thing backed into the shed so it's not in the way of everything, and then we'll also we'll see what Joe's doing. I think we were gonna get those gates all welded up at some point today. Got to bring her up in layers. The gate metal's too light. We got farmer grade metal here for the posts, but cheap metal for the head gates. Posts are all welded on. Not the prettiest welds, but like I said before, we're farmers, not welders. That should hold. I'm just going along tidying stuff up, and we're just going to weld a beam across to keep them from jumping over the water trough. And then this pen should be all ready for those guys. So those guys are going to come over here So you want this side to be the finishing side. And then once the goats barn is all ready for them, we will move them into place. And then rebuild this end, and then we'll have lots of space for cattle in here. So I'm just going to tidy this up. Joe's going to get that beam across, and then I think we were going to maybe look at tackling another job. Like I said, it's getting close to crunch time on getting in the fields for planting, so we want to make sure everything's ready. Corn planters, like I said earlier, is pretty much ready outside of the new monitor and receiver that we got to get for it. I'm hoping that shows up sometime next week. Fields aren't ready, but you don't want to be getting stuff ready when the fields are ready. So fields aren't ready yet. So anyways, I'm gonna get back at tidying this stuff up. Got it swept up for the most part. All the welding rod ends and stuff like that. Just gotta grab that bag. Joe's gonna finish up welding there, and then we'll tidy it all up. And then I don't know if we'll finish cleaning them out, because that's packed in there pretty hard, but I imagine we will. And get a bale of straw in here for them, because that side desperately needs to be cleaned out. So hence why we put the big push on to get this all done. Plus we also don't want to be doing this when we're trying to plant corn or soybeans or spray or what have you. So like I said, he's gonna go get that. I'm gonna weld that on there, and then I'm gonna go tackle something else.